up, you guys? You are back with your host, Ladur. We are back with another episode of A Piece of Advice podcast. Let me be the first to say that in the first two episodes, we had the name all butchered. It was nerves. It was a little bit of uncertainty because originally the podcast was going to be named from my experience. But with the guests that we're going to be having on the show throughout some of the episodes, it's not just my experience that you guys will be learning from. So it just did not fit. This is just a piece of my advice. Anywho, in the previous episodes, we have been focusing a lot on just reflecting on our year of 2024, setting our intentions for 2025, reflecting and just kind of putting a hammer down and taking accountability for where we ended up in 2024, what we're trying to do in 2025, and making realistic goals of how we're actually going to get there. Now, my experience is one thing, but why not learn from more people at the same time? Because maybe my niche is not what you're doing. Maybe the business ventures that I'm doing is not what you're doing. And even so, experiences from everyone can teach everyone. Now, today we have a very special guest, as you guys can see, Cito, the legendary, the legend in the making, Cito, I should say at that. He just got off a flight from Paris. So, listen to everything he has to say, take what resonates, and leave what does not. As always, the one disclaimer I give you guys is use your discernment. If you have not learned how to use that yet, don't worry, we will teach you. Just stick along for the ride. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and sometimes things that you come across is things that's meant to be shared with others. Your best friends, a regular friend, your man, your girl. Each one teach one. So, without further ado, welcome, Cito, to A Piece of Advice podcast.
Man, what going on, man? It's your boy Cito Blanko. Never miss a free throw. And we active, man. Fresh off a flight. Got some wine. So we gonna talk. We gonna talk. We gonna vibe.
First of all, how was Paris?
Paris is a beautiful city. I like their croissants. Their croissants, you know, the bonjour vibes. It's cool. I love the fashion. I'm fascinated with the architecture. New Orleans is one of my favorite cities, but now I understand why New Orleans looks the way it looks. Mm-hmm. It's because, like, New Orleans used to be owned by Paris, and then, like, their balconies, and then, like, the corners, everything, the setups, the streets, the cobbles. So it's fascinating to understand. Being in civilizations that have been around for centuries, you learn new things.
Of course.
So, yeah.
Of course. Well, as y'all know, Allure Ladur will be in Paris in 2026.
Why not 2025? Summertime.
Fashion Week.
June.
We're going to start Fashion Week, and we're going to keep it fast. We're going to keep it amazing. Uh-huh. June, we're going to Japan to get inspiration.
Oh, so, that's a bar.
You know, there's a plan. I always plan years ahead, which is what I'm trying to set you guys up for. You know, our plans may not always fully succeed or succeed at all. But as long as you have a plan, you know that you're working towards something. Sometimes you experience failure. You understand? So that being said, it actually brings us to our topic of today of how do you still proceed after failure? How does failures attribute and contribute to your healing journey? So
it's tough because it's like this quote has been like resonating on my spirit for a minute. I've probably been saying it for like 4 months. Don't let the chip on your shoulder be the pillow you sleep with at night.
But that's exactly why I felt like you were the perfect person for this episode. Because just a couple months back, right? Mm-hmm. Just a couple months back, you were like, not even, was it last? Yo, it probably was even 2023. Celine hit me up in December maybe about the project that you were working on before we even got to the actual shooting of it. Listen, Cito wants you.
Yes,
2023.
It was 2023.
It was 2023. Rebel Spice hit me up about a project that he was going to be working on. Listen, he wants you to be the lead girl. He wants you to be this. First of all, do you see how far in advance you have to sit there and think about the things that you want to accomplish? Do you see everything that goes into it? There's a difference. You can't just decide you want to do something today and do it. It's not going to go all the way because you need to have preparation. You need to account the failures. And if it involves other people, best believe nothing is going according to plan, but you have to be able to continuously move on and move forward. You understand? So he said he wanted to have me as lead girl. Crazy thing is, this man didn't even hit me up himself.
All right, see, that's the thing,
Our
right?
mutual did.
some of the best things about executing your plans are having people that believe in your plan just as much as you. And shout out to Rebel Spice, because it's like when you give her an idea, she'll start putting the thing in motion before you're ready to put it in motion.
Aquarius in her.
And at the time, I'm like, I want to do this, but I'm not sure how to go about it. And I'm looking for a lead girl because, like, expiration dates right here. We got it on vinyl, tapping on iTunes. I wanted to do something where it's like my spirit was connected to the project. Mm-hmm. I felt like I didn't like the way love was being talked about. And I feel like in this generation, we're so scared to love that I had to give acknowledgement to my father and my mother for even trying, despite whatever happened.
And being successful.
Yes. Well, being successful, having 3 dope kids, you know, it didn't pan out in the way that you wanted to be, like them like dying next to each other or stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's like the love they created in the world was manifested in me, my brother, and my sister. So I feel like I needed to almost like write something into the future about that. Mm-hmm. And that's what expiration dates is about. It's about the things in our life that we continue to invest in, even though they have an expiration date. And I feel like I no longer want to do that. And this was the start of a part of one of my healing processes. So, yeah.
Exactly. Prior to your healing process and what started it up, how much have you went through from the time where it started till now? Because you've went on tour, you've had projects, you've had self-doubt, you've had, I'm going to just do it. You've had the battle, which is something I spoke about in one of the previous episodes, of the battle between who you are becoming now, who you are, and who you were. And through all those, one person is failing the other two. So when you're no longer being who you were, what you're doing now is failing somebody else. Like, I would have went out tonight. I'm bored at home. But your new person, maybe you want to sit there and you want to read a book, or you want to be locked in and consistent with, whatever it is that you're planning for your 2025. You see? Your 2025. And now it's like, all right, we're not all on the same page, because you can't really ever be. Who you are now will always be the tie between who you were and who you want to be. Mm-hmm. How did you navigate within that failure?
I think departmentalizing helped a lot. Just to understand, like, I forgot who said it, but it's like, you gotta understand the rhythm of the season. Mm-hmm. Like, so many times, it's like, I used to force it. I used to feel like, I want to go spend 60 hours in the studio, but I'm not producing anything. So that's not the rhythm of the season. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying don't have discipline or be consistent, but you just got to understand, like, where am I at right now? Mm-hmm. And sometimes you have to go with what flows and what's aligning. So at that moment, I realized, like, I had a whole other project besides this one. And that project, like, we spent so many hours in the studio, it didn't work. And I finished this one so fast, and I just realized this is what that season is. So I've learned now, like, and I tell my bro Chuck all the time, it's like, bro, tonight, bro, we on our 2008 shit. like, you know what I'm saying? Like we gonna go back into that mode, and I'm gonna get it out of my system. And then, like, other nights, they call my phone, it's on D&D because I'm locked in. So to me, it's like, I don't deprive myself of other things anymore, because everybody has a seat at the table if that table's gonna succeed. So I can't lock the dog in the basement no more, because he's a part of how I got here. I can't lock the young lover boy, like, upstairs writing poetry anymore, because he's a part of the process. I just have to give them all spaces to speak and understand, like, put them in a position to succeed. Mm-hmm. And I feel like if I get them all on the same page, then I think my life flourishes. And I think that's what the job is right now. Yeah. Getting all of them on the same page type shit.
Okay. I feel like for me, how I've ever overcame the failures of everything I went through, because if you really know me, there was a point in life where I was sleeping on the roof, because I prefer that than to go home. I would sleep anywhere but home. Mother think I'm out running the streets. No, I just don't want to be there. You understand? And for me, what always kept me going, or always made me overcome anything that was put before me, is just, I think part of it is having to have that passion within you. Like, I have a passion to succeed. And not for nothing, out of all the people who are successful, there are people that I feel like, in my opinion, maybe you don't deserve it, but if that's the blessing that God has bestowed upon you, there's no way, shape, or form that I can sit there and take that away from you, because I don't know. I only know what I've seen. I only know what I know. But there's always so many gray areas that you don't understand and that you don't know. I think one of the biggest things with failure is, even before me having children and before me having kids, it was really just like, I'm not a regular person. I really am a chosen one. I really am a rare breed. And a lot of the opportunities that I have been blessed with, I took advantage of, and I lost them. But only in that present moment, because the outcome of the opportunity has always came back around. but the opportunity that it was presented with was different. But it's up to you to grow as a person and to realize and to take accountability for where it is that you're going wrong. Because as you grow, you will get presented with those opportunities again. But understand, if you're not growing and you're keeping yourself in those same areas, those same places, you can't get that chance again. You just can't. You have to be able to grow to get to those spaces so you can get those opportunities and you can realize like, oh, this is a moment. At the same time, the one thing I've learned is like there has to be balance. You cannot be focused on just the passion so much that you don't sit there. Listen, you investing so much into this one thing. At some point, you have to do a check-in. What am I getting? What's the analytics on all of this? Not to say that you stop, because if you enjoy it that much, that could just be something that's your passion project. But if you're doing anything else for outside of that, you have to manage, okay, passion, reason, net worth, gross, whatever it is. And not gross or net worth in a way of, okay, it has to be financial, but just for everything that you pour into, there's something that has to come back. If you're ever pouring in a cup and there's nothing coming back, that is a dead cup. That should not be something you pour into. Mm-hmm. Life is about the transferring of energy, and what you give should come back to you. If you're not getting anything, you're in a stagnant place. You in still waters, you know?
That's real. And it's value. I think value is important. Mm-hmm. And one of my favorite other quotes was like, don't confuse movement with progress. Like, sometimes it's better to sit still and just like process everything that's happening than be running in the same circle. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, I had to learn that like we all got the same 24 hours. So the only way for me to be better is to increase my value. So all my time starts to matter more. And I think that's the important part about it too. So just like, yeah, like your frequency is your currency. Your currency is your value.
Facts. I think also stop watching the next person. Like, whatever track somebody else is on, that is their path, that is their journey, that is how they are supposed to be moving. And everybody likes to say, oh, no, I don't watch this, I don't watch that. Listen, it goes by the age groups.
All right, don't be watchy and don't watch the next man's pockets for sure.
Don't be a monitoring spirit.
No, don't do that. Do not do that. That's a fact. But it's important to also understand the textures of the time.
Yes, for sure.
Because so many times people in the gym doing the wrong workout. Like, you got to understand what you're doing and what's happening.
What you're working on.
Yeah, so studying greatness is important too. So sometimes it's like, yeah, you can watch, but understand what's happening. Like, there's certain people that I can be like, yo, man, that was a great move. Why didn't I think about that? Like, and that makes me go like, yo, I gotta get back on my shit.
But I call those mentors, which is something I've also mentioned in a previous episode. Like, have a mentor. It doesn't have to be somebody that you sit there and actually speak to, but listen, the habits or the things that you want to install within yourself, find somebody who is already a master at it and just see what it is that they do. So if you want to wake up at 5 a.m., I'm going to always use this analogy because that is what I personally am working towards. If you want to wake up at 5 a.m., what you going to do? Maybe you're going to go to your bed earlier. So how do you schedule your days? You understand? I'm going to look at that person. Oh, I want to meet more people. Well, this person always goes out for networking. They go, if it starts at 8, they go at 10 and they out by 12:30 because they're there at the prime of the event. They're not there to actually party at the event. You know, it's called finding a silent mentor, but you have people who sit there and watch other people, not just to watch them. It's not in an envious way or a jealous way. It's more so you tracking your success with what they're doing, but you don't even know what they're doing. You only see what it is that they're posting.
That's true. And I got help with the 5-5-5 rule. In the sense of like, you kind of have 5 people at the same level where you at, 5 people that you're aspiring to be, and then 5 people that look at you as the goal they're trying to get to. Because every single time I get like around my young boys and they be like, yo, I'm trying to do this and do that and do that, then I can process it and realize like, hold on, I've graduated that level, but I didn't know that until I was able to teach it to somebody else. So in that, it gives you a space to know what to be inspired by, know what to keep you present, but also to understand how far you've come. And I think that's the best thing that can help you, like, in that whole zeitgeist of the Matrix, like when you're on social media type shit.
I think giving yourself just that grace. Like, give yourself grace. I think that's one thing, like, especially if you're somebody who, so, I got to do this, and you're giving yourself deadlines. Don't give yourself the leeway of, okay, I didn't make this deadline. It's okay. I could just, don't make excuses for yourself. Again, hold yourself accountable for the things that you're not doing. However, be realistic in your accountability. You understand? That's like, just be realistic in your accountability.
And have real timelines. Like have
Realistic.
have real timelines. Like sometimes like you wasn't gonna get that done in that time frame. Like life is going life. Like sometimes you gotta factor that in. And also you can schedule your laziness. Like yo, this whole world of just like I'm about to just do all this. Like you schedule your laziness, yo.
In
like
2 days.
You be surprised. You sitting there watching all these TED Talks, and you might get $1 million deal because y'all both related on a Netflix show. You'll be surprised. Like being present in the times also helps you. You have to know what's going on.
But faith without work is dead. So remember that as well. Don't watch all these TED Talks and feel like, okay, I listen to this. You feel inspired in the moments for about 5 minutes, but then there's no real action behind it.
That part too.
People do that.
No,
I'm somebody that was guilty of that. Now I got a planner. I write it down.
You go through the seasons.
You go through the seasons, but that's how you. But that is how you progress through the failure and you achieve it. Most people see failure as a bad thing. If you win, you win. When you fail, you learn something. If you notice that you're failing to whatever you consider that failure to be, but you are not sitting there and learning anything, you need to go through that lesson again because you didn't learn it the first time. But in closing, because we can talk for days, we could talk for hours.
That's a fact.
What is something that you would leave the people with? One of the biggest takeaways from your lesson of just, pushing forward through failure.
Oh, man. When God give you your light, stop running to people's shadows.
And if for the people who don't believe in God, for me, that's amazing. Yeah. But sometimes you got to help those people find their way to that light.
I genuinely feel like people's biggest fear is greatness. Because it's not actually like failure in all reality. Like people fail every day and they're so accustomed to it. It's when you get everything that the universe or God has given you, and now you're in the opportunity to get to the next level. That is probably the most difficult thing there is. What happens when everything goes right and self-sabotage kicks in and insecurities pop up, and then now life is life in? How do you still stay the new version of you and don't resort back to your old habits? That is the most difficult thing that I go through. It's not like going from 40% to 80% is way easier than going from 80 to 82%. It's like once you get to a certain level, it's like those little details are very difficult, but that's what separates you from good to great. And I think that's just the toughest part, where it's like, I just look at failure. Failure is fun now. It's fun now because now I get to look myself in the mirror and be like, you gonna do it again? You that nigga again? You gonna make it happen again? It's like, you got it again? And the party is like, nah. The party is like, you're just doing that to add hot sauce on that shit. You know you got it. But now I'm learning also is like, the win is not my win. It's like, who else is at the table? Exactly. And that's important. So to me, it's like, I can help myself through my failure, but can I help my team through failure? And if I can't help my team through failure, then that's a different level of it. So now you got to understand is like, am I creating environment for the whole system to win? Because systems make millionaires. Systems make success, not just people. So you have to understand what your system is. So now I'm working through that, where it's like, I can't talk to this person this way. I have to be better with this. My time management is horrible. Like, what are the things I have to do that seem minute, but in all honesty will get you to another level? So it's that constant space, and like scheduling, the big whiteboard that helps. Yeah. Like to me, it's like I had a whiteboard. My brother's like, nah, you need a whiteboard with the wheels now, bro. It's not enough space. It's not enough space for what you're trying to get done. So also you have to create the environments to succeed. Exactly. So space is the future, and if you don't got the space to do it, then it's kind of like it can't happen.
I 1,000% agree. So on that note, think about the places that you could make more space. Where are you currently cluttered that you can declutter? Think about what it is you're trying to do, the people it's going to take to do it, and how it's going to become achievable.
That's a fact.
Don't let failure scare you away or shy away from the things you really want to do, because all failure is your comfortability. Especially if you've been trying at something so much. You failed 10 times, well, now you're comfortable with failing. You don't have any faith in yourself that you can actually sit there and succeed. But you have to. Faith and work will give you everything that you need. And if it's really for you, no one can take that away. But the things that are worth more take longer to come. On that note, thank you guys for checking in with the Piece of Advice podcast.
Bat.
Cito, tell them where they can find you on Instagram and everything else. You
can find your boy Cito Blanko. Don't ever miss a frito. So it's CITO BLANKO. iTunes, expiration dates out, 98 cents on Amazon. We're going to be doing the city winery tours real soon. Me and Maui is popping up. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to J-Tip. Shout out Muggsy McFly. Shout out Chuck Wolf, Rebel Spice, Uptown. We outside. Yeah, clean up your room. Clean up your heart. You know what I'm saying? Clean up your bed. It's important.
Don't overthink it. On that note, if you love the crew neck and you want to shop, allureladur.com. That is who sponsored this podcast today.
It's a good sweater.
No, you feel me? You see them dancing? The VVS capsule. Check it out.
The Bentley roof.
You feel me? On that note, thank you guys for checking in.
Oh.